Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakak, Wadash, Mama. I want to give a double honor to the elders of GMS. Salutations to the sincere Aki and pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm the Karab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Today I'll be coming out with a little quick lesson. Title of it is in moderation. You know, we got to do a lot of different things in moderation. We can't do too much of one thing or too much of anything, really. We have to do things in moderation. But without further ado, I'm gonna just get right into the scriptures and let them speak for themselves. This is Sirach 31. I'm gonna start at verse 27. This is, wine is as a good life, Salaki. Wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately. See, wine, same thing, wine, actual wine. It is as a good life to a man, if it be drinking moderately. You know, a lot of our people, they like to do things and drink. They like drinking. Most of Jake drink too much. You know, you have to do things in moderation. You have to do things in small portions. You can't just do a whole lot of one thing and expect it not to have a negative effect on you, because it will. Like drinking too much, or eating too much of a certain food that could cause such as blood pressure, high blood pressure, diabetes, and so forth and so forth. So we got to do things in moderation. Again, I'm gonna read verse 27 again. It says, wine is as good as life to a man, if it be drunk moderately. What is life then to a man without wine? For it was made to make men glad. And that's what wine was. Wine itself, the actual drink, wine, it was made to make men glad, because when people drink wine or people start to drinking, what happens? They get in a jovial, mirthy spirit. You know, they like to have fun, they want to joke and different things like that. Well, that's what wine was made for. But you do it in moderation. You drink it moderately. You don't drink too much of it. Same thing with anything else in life. You don't do too much of one thing. You do whatever it is, you do it in moderations. Continuing, next verse. Wine measurably drunk and in season bringeth gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind. See, wine measurably drunk. Wine, again, the actual wine, measurably drunk, drinking in moderation. And in season, when you do it at the right time, it bringeth gladness of the heart, like I said before. When people start drinking, you know, it bringeth gladness of the heart. You know, when it's drunk measurably, drunk in moderation. When it's done in moderation, it brings gladness of the heart, like I said before. People get in a jovial, you know, uplifted spirit. They want to laugh, they want to joke, they want to have a good time. And it brings gladness of the heart. And it brings, you know, cheerfulness of the mind. Sometimes you may be going through a little something here or there, and you may have a drink, you know, it makes you, it doesn't make you, you forget about it temporarily. Whatever it is, you don't think about it. I won't say you forget about it, but you don't think about it. It brings gladness of the heart. You know, it kind of uplifts your spirit a little bit. That's why they call it wines and spirits and different things like that, because when you're drinking, it does put you in a different spirit. Continuing. But again, if it's measurably drunk and you do it in season at the right time, it brings gladness of the heart and cheerfulness of the mind. But you got to do things in moderation. You can't do too much of one thing. It's not good. That's the point of this whole lesson. It's just talking about wine, so I'm using that. But the point of the lesson is to do things in moderation. Don't do too much of one thing. But continuing. Verse 29 says, but wine drunken with excess maketh bitterness of the mind, with brawling and quarreling. See, when people get drunk, when you start to get drunk and you drinking too much and you're not doing things in moderation, that's when it starts to become a wound unto you. It starts to become a problem. And again, most people that get toe sloppy, toe up, drunk, toe over, messed up, ripped, guess what happens? They start fighting, they start brawling, they start quarreling, and next thing you know, in the words of the Boondocks, you end up having a nigga moment. That's what it is. When you drink too much, when you do anything in excess, too much or whatever it is, it's going to cause a problem. Whatever it is. So you have to do things in moderation. can't do too much of one thing. You gotta do things in moderation. You gotta do it and leave it alone. Whatever it is, you do whatever you gotta do with it, and then you move on to the next thing. You don't just stay continually doing the same thing. You can't do too much of one thing in this life. We living in a place where where anything can destroy you, from spiritually all the way down to physically. So we must do things in moderation, which is the point of this whole lesson. Verse 30, it says, drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend. It diminishes strength and maketh wounds. Again, when people get drunk, you see people get drunk, they get tore up, they want to fight, they want to brawl, but guess what? It increases the rage. They just angry, and it makes people transgress against other people. It makes them be disrespectful and to go against that person. And and when you are drunk and tore up, it diminishes strength. Most people that get drunk, when they get tore up, they want to fight, they want to brawl, they want to have cause problems. But in that, it diminishes their strength. You ever seen two people that were drunk fight or get in an argument? You ever seen the whole ordeal? You ever watched that? That is their strength being diminished, and it maketh wounds. They cause themselves to be hurt. Why? Because they didn't drink in moderation, or they didn't do what they were doing in moderation. They did it in excess, and that's what makes them transgress, and makes them, be be brawling, or have with brawling or quarreling, and it maketh wounds unto themselves. So again, we have to do things in moderation. This right here though, these particular verses is talking about actual wine and actual drinking, but I'm using this point as to say, do things in moderation. Don't do too much. Do it in moderation. Drinking drinking is one of those things that you really should do in moderation, that you can't do too much of, because drinking too much, honestly, you can get in trouble or cause problems for yourself or other people. But again, drunkenness increases the rage of a fool till he offend. It diminishes strength and maketh wounds. See, it diminishes the strength of your mind, the strength of your body. It don't make you think. It makes you not think. So the point of this lesson is, though, to do things in moderation. And drinking is one of those things that you should very well do in moderation, as well as other things in life. You got to do it in moderation. Doing too much of one thing, it can become a problem. It can harm you instead of help you. Shalom.